Welcome to today's World News Update for May 3, 2023. Here are the most important stories from around the globe. Australia's Sydney Opera House won't light up for coronation to save costs. Moldovan President, we're only safe thanks to Ukraine, Russia wants to remake the Soviet Union. The hearing of K.K.'s father is over, he denied guilt, detention proposed. Bakhmut on fire, Russia uses phosphorus bombs en masse. Labour now largest party of local government and Conservatives lose over 1,000 seats. A fifth of inflation in 2022 caused by increased company profits. COVID no longer a global health emergency. Animal tests for makeup resume after 25-year ban. Stay informed and stay safe, and join us tomorrow for more world news updates. Australia's Sydney Opera House won't light up for coronation to save costs. The Sydney Opera House in Australia will not be lit up to mark the coronation of King Charles as it was a cost-saving measure, according to a spokesperson for the New South Wales government. The monarchy's role in Australia is controversial, with a referendum in 1999 on becoming a republic being opposed by 55% of voters, and more recent polls showing varying levels of support. Other public buildings and monuments in Australia will be illuminated in royal purple on Saturday to mark the coronation. King Charles is head of state in 13 Commonwealth realms, including Australia and New Zealand, with a mostly ceremonial role. Moldovan President, we're only safe thanks to Ukraine, Russia wants to remake the Soviet Union. Moldovan President Maia Sandu believes that if Russia had succeeded in taking over Ukraine, it would have continued its expansion by bringing troops into Moldova. She emphasized that Moldova is only safe today thanks to Ukraine, and if necessary, her plan was to help as many of her people as possible cross to Romania, but she would have stayed in Moldova. Sandu thinks that Russia's aggression against Ukraine is an attempt to remake the Soviet Union, and she wants Moldova to be part of the democratic world. She has frequently toasted victory for Ukraine, and in February, she stressed that Moldova faced a serious threat of occupation by Russian troops, which has now decreased due to the successful actions of the armed forces of Ukraine. The hearing of K.K.'s father is over, he denied guilt, detention proposed. A hearing took place in Belgrade regarding the case of a suspect, Vladimir K., who is accused of improperly securing firearms and ammunition, which allowed his 13-year-old son to obtain them and carry out a shooting at his school, killing 9 people and injuring several others. The prosecution will propose to the judge for the suspect to be placed in custody to prevent him from influencing witnesses, repeating the offense, and due to public anxiety. During the hearing, the suspect denied committing the crime and presented his defense. The child is not criminally responsible according to current regulations and has been placed in a psychiatric institution for observation. Bakhmut on fire, Russia uses phosphorus bombs en masse. It seems that Russian occupation forces used phosphorus and incendiary ammunition in the city of Bakhmut, Donetsk Oblast on the evening of May 5. This was reported by the Special Operations Forces of Ukraine, who are defending the city. Yevgeny Prigozhin, the founder of the Wagner private military company, had previously written a letter to the Russian Defense Ministry stating that he would withdraw the Wagner PMC mercenaries from Bakhmut after May 10, but the armed forces of Ukraine are skeptical about this claim and believe that the Russians will continue to put pressure on the defenders of Bakhmut until May 9. Labour now largest party of local government and Conservatives lose over 1,000 seats. The article discusses the recent local elections in the UK and the results. Labour has become the largest party of local government, overtaking the Conservatives for the first time since 2002. Labour has gained more than 500 seats while the Conservatives have lost more than 1,000 seats, meeting the worst possible pre-election expectations. The article mentions the councils that have changed hands, such as Medway and Swindon, and which party is in control of them. The article also discusses the good and bad news for Labour in terms of winning votes in areas where the Conservatives are currently in control. Finally, The article notes that Labour would fall 28 seats short of a House of Commons majority if this election's vote trends were repeated in a general election. A fifth of inflation in 2022 caused by increased company profits. According to a report by Rabobank economists, Dutch businesses profited last year from a period of high inflation by increasing prices more than necessary, effectively increasing their profit margins. The report states that Dutch companies increased prices by more than 2% more than they needed to do in 2022, which is responsible for a fifth of total inflation last year. The economists conclude that some of the increased prices were due to increased energy and raw material costs, but some of it was profiteering. The report is based on CBS statistics, which show that in 2022, companies made a record €238 billion, while buying in less energy and raw materials. Despite higher wages, annual company profits rose by €10 billion at the end of 2022. COVID no longer a global health emergency. It is being reported that the World Health Organization, WHO, has declared that COVID-19 is no longer a global health emergency, although the virus still poses a threat. The decision was made by the WHO after convening an expert group to assess the situation, and although COVID-19 has changed the world, the pandemic has been on a downward trend for more than a year. The declaration means that in many countries, the decision will make little difference to what was already being done, but in places with poorly resourced healthcare systems, it could free up capacity to deal with other major disease threats including tuberculosis, HIV, and malaria. COVID-19 was declared a pandemic on March 11, 2020, triggering lockdowns and travel restrictions across the world, and has caused more than 6 million deaths worldwide. Animal tests for makeup resume after 25-year ban. The UK government has allowed animal testing for makeup ingredients to resume, despite a 25-year ban. The government changed its policy on animal testing to align with EU chemical rules, which require some ingredients used in cosmetics to be tested on animals to ensure their safety for workers manufacturing the ingredients. Animal testing for makeup or its ingredients had been completely banned in the UK since 1998, with the exception of when the benefits outweighed the animal suffering, such as for medicines. The change in the government's position has been heavily criticized by major beauty and cosmetic brands, including Unilever, Body Shop, and Boots, and animal rights activists, who argue that the move is illegal and in breach of the animal testing ban for makeup and its ingredients. It is not known how many licenses were issued or to whom, but the change in policy could involve testing chemicals commonly found in foundations and concealers by forcing rats to inhale or ingest them.